city to city, country to country, on the world's local television network. It's his Channel Live.
And so I started off teaching young kids, and then before long I was in seminary. And after that I was a youth pastor for 4 years.
And all the while still in the police force.
And all the while I've still been a detective. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have not given that up, and I won't give that up until, I think that God's got a role for me to play there. And I think that God's got a role for me to play in helping people to see the clear value of the evidence and what difference your faith makes, what difference can be made in your faith once you are convinced of the truth of a matter. That's so powerful. There's a difference. For me, I've seen it, and that's why I'm here. I'm so glad to share it with you tonight, that I think there is a difference. And being convinced is a very important part of being a Christian. And you know this, if you ever follow the stats. I noticed this when I was in a junior high pastor and a high school pastor. The first high school seniors that I graduated, I think nearly all of them walked away from their faith the first year in college. And I looked at that and I said, why am the worst youth pastor that's ever worked as a youth pastor? But I think that my results probably were pretty similar to others. And looking now at the statistics on this, you see that anywhere from the high 60s to the low 80s percentile of young Christians who come out claiming they're Christians as freshmen in college will not be claiming themselves as Christians by the time they're college
One more
seniors.
time on that. What's the percentage?
Well, it
again?
depends on who you read.
Okay.
And
It's over 50%.
Barn has done some work on this, but it's well over 60%.
60%.
And some will rate it as high in the low 80s, 82% of young Christians in college will walk away from their faith. Only about a third will ever return to their faith. That's what happens when young people are not convinced that this is not just true for them, it's true for everyone. It's objectively true. And I think that there's an adult component to this too. When adults are not convinced that this is objectively true, evidentially true, historically true, archaeologically true, when they're not convinced of this, they have a tendency to sit on their hands. You don't spend a lot of time trying to convince your friends that lemon meringue pie is the best pie in the world. You think that's just your opinion. And people who don't know this is evidentially true, haven't even looked at that issue, have a tendency to treat their faith as though it's lemon meringue pie. It's just true for me, it's my opinion, but hey, if you're a Buddhist and that's working for you,
works for me, fine.
Who am I to tell you that you're wrong? And so this is what I think. But on the other hand, if we are trying to convince people that lemons are a cure for scurvy, then we have to get this right. This is no longer a matter of opinion. This is now a cure.
A fact, a matter of proof,
Right.
a matter of evidence.
Yes, it's the cure for what's ailing you. It's the cure for what's killing you. And if we have that cure and we just act like lemon meringue pie, I think we are to be pitied, really.
I see.
So my whole goal is to, I think there's a relationship, I always kind of, if you want to play with words a little bit, there's a relationship between conviction and depiction. If you want to depict the life of the early saints, the life of Christ himself, even to the small extent you might be able to do that, you need to be convicted that this is true. You need to be so convicted about the truth of the matter that your life is worth giving to the matter. And the same is true, I think, also if you look at it in terms of certainty. There's a relationship between certainty, integrity, honesty, purity. When you are certain this is true, you are more inclined to live a life that reflects your worldview because you're certain of it. Now, we're in an age, Don, you know it, where people are not certain of anything. It's all a matter of opinion. So maybe the first battle that we have to do now as apologists, you and I, is to convince people of the existence of objective truth upon which we can build the truth of our worldview. Because most of the time I spend now online with folks is in this argument, this debate about the existence of objective truth. So that's probably the first battleground for us.